These are the 5 largest office buildings in the Miami market, indeed the entire South Florida market. And if you guessed that these are in the Central Business District, that is downtown Miami, Brickell Avenue, well, you're spot on. Give yourself a thumbs up. We're going to get right in. Number 5, we're going to start in reverse order, is 701 Brickell Avenue. 5th largest building in the Miami market is 701 Brickell Avenue at 685,279 square feet. The property is 92% leased, and the rental rates are $140 to $170 a square foot full service. Now, that's on a yearly basis, not monthly like California. And full service means that the CAM, the common area maintenance, real estate taxes, and property insurance are all baked into that number. Nonetheless, at $140 to $170 a square foot, this is the highest rate that we'll find amongst the 5 large office buildings in Miami. This property is owned by Morningcom Management. They're from Boca Raton, right here in South Florida, and they bought this building in October of 24 for $443 million, nearly $500 million, to buy 701 Brickell. That amounted to $646 a square foot, and that's your going rate, $650 a foot if you want to buy a tower on Brickell Avenue. The leasing team is Cushman & Wakefield, led by Brian Gale, Ryan Holtzman, and their team, their crew. We're going to run into Brian and Ryan one more time as we go through this 5 largest office tower list. Now, to get to number 4, we're going to go across the Miami River into downtown Miami, and there she is, One Biscayne Tower. And One Biscayne Tower is located at 2 South Biscayne Boulevard. It has a distinct fact that it is the first office tower, first high-rise in Miami. Now, this property comes in at 691,783 square feet, and there's a lot of fond memories for those of us in commercial real estate having to do with One Biscayne Towers. In the 80s, my family and I used to go watch the Orange Bowl Parade from the garage because this building sits beautifully on Biscayne Boulevard. Now, the property, truly a Class A building, has been fully renovated, has all the amenities you would expect in a Class A building, but it's currently only 71% leased. That's part why you'll find $59 to $62 a square foot is what they're quoting on a full service basis. Now, that's less than half of what 701 Brickell Avenue is quoting, but that puts it head on with Coral Gables Class A space. And so, listen, if you're in downtown or Brickell and you're a tenant and you want to stay in Class A space in the 50s, you don't have to escape out to Coral Gables. You could stay right here at One Biscayne Tower and have beautiful bay views. The property is owned by CP Group, and they were very busy acquiring real estate in the middle of the pandemic. In June of 21, they bought this building for $225 million or $325 a square foot. We're going to run into CP Group one more time on this 5 largest list. Now, number 3, we're going to stay in downtown and go to Wells Fargo Center, located at 333 Southeast 2nd Avenue or Avenue of the Americas. And Wells Fargo Center comes in at 752,846 square feet. Property is 88% leased, and you'll pay about $85 a square foot to lease space at Wells Fargo Center. Maybe you don't know, but this is one of 3 office towers that delivered in Miami just after the Great Recession. This was the first in 2009, and they secured Greenberg Traurig out of 1221 Brickell Avenue as their anchor tenant, who went in and took all the beautiful views on the top floors of Wells Fargo Center. And they are beautiful views up there, as you can see on this picture. Now, MetLife is the ownership group, and the leasing team is, once again, Cushman & Wakefield, Brian Gale, and Ryan Holtzman. Brian and Ryan and team lease Wells Fargo Center, the second of the 5 largest office buildings leased by Cushman & Wakefield. Now, we're going to keep plowing along, and we get to number 2, staying in downtown again. Citigroup Center, 201 South Biscayne Boulevard, is the second largest building in the Miami market. This one comes in at 802,974 square feet. Now, it's currently 94% leased. Well done, leasing team. Rental rates are $60 to $71 a square foot, full service. You'll pay $60 for the lower floors, $70 for the upper floors. Now, this property it has interconnectivity with the Intercontinental. It's on the east side of Biscayne Boulevard. Beautiful views, an iconic building. Owned by CP Group out of Atlanta. This is the second purchase they made in June of 21. They bought this for $270 million or $373 a square foot. So while the rest of us in June of 21 were trying to figure out, do we mask on? Do we mask off? Do we come in the office? Do we stay home? CP Group was busy adding monopoly pieces on Biscayne Boulevard, and they spent over about $500 million, $500 million in real estate purchases in Miami. The property is leased by JLL, Stephen Hurwitz, and Doug Oken. Now, here we are. Number one, the largest office building in the Miami market in all of South Florida, indeed, perhaps in all of the Southeast is, and I gave you a hint, it is Southeast Financial Center. Southeast Financial Center is located at 200 South Biscayne Boulevard, and get this, it comes in at 1,225,000 square feet. The property is more than 50% larger than the number 2 Citigroup Center. 400,000 square feet larger. That means you can take Citigroup Center and add a 1221 Brickell Avenue, and you still don't get to Southeast Financial's behemoth size. The property is 86% leased, and it's going for $70 to $80 a square foot on a triple net basis. That means you're going to have to add to that number CAM, real estate taxes, insurance, so figure about $100 a square foot. If you wonder why anyone would pay about $100 a square foot in downtown Miami, we'll take a look at those actual views from the top floors of this building. Been up there, beautiful. Really no other building can compete with the views from Southeast Financial. It's an iconic building to define the Miami skyline since it was developed and built in the 1980s. Now, this property is owned by Ponte Gadea. This is owned by a Spanish billionaire, Amancio Ortega. In 2016, he paid $516 million for Southeast Financial Center. Now, $500 million in 2025, well, that gets you a lot of Bitcoin, doesn't it? But how much Bitcoin could Mr. Ortega have bought in 2016 for $516 million? I've done the numbers. It would have been in the tens and tens and tens and tens and tens and more tens of billions of dollars today. But look, let's not cry for Mr. Ortega, Spanish billionaire. I'm sure financially he's pretty well set and happy that he purchased Southeast Financial in 2016. The property is leased by another national firm, CBRE, and that's Eric Groffman and Cameron Talon of CBRE that lease Southeast Financial Center. Now, this is the largest building in the market today. We've got several towers underway and announced, so stay tuned. We'll have to take a look if they hold their number one spot as the largest building in the South Florida market, Southeast Financial. Thanks for tuning in. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the Commercial Real Estate Talk podcast if you want to see more posts like this in the future. Good day.